What is going on to all my Halloween fans out there, and welcome back to my channel. We are here today to discuss the end of a franchise, potentially. We're talking about Halloween Ends. I got a chance to see it last night in theaters, and we're here to talk about it. The good, the bad, and the ugly, and if this film is worth checking out. We'll be discussing that and so much more in today's spoiler-free review. But before we get into it, if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that notification bell. That way you can stay up to date with all my daily content. You can also give your boy a follow on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. All those links can be found in the description of this video. Speaking of this video, do your boy a favor. If you enjoyed today's content, give the video a thumbs up as well as share it. But more importantly, once you've seen Halloween Ends, we gotta talk about it. I'm talking, let me know your pros, your cons, thoughts on the direction, the story, the performances. What were your favorite kills, your favorite characters? What didn't work for you on this film? What did you think about that ending? And is this really the end? And let's talk about rankings. No matter how many Halloween films you've seen, where does Halloween Ends rank for you on your personal list? Let's talk about it in the comments below. So, yep. I saw a film last night. It was this one, and we're here to talk about it. Let's just jump right into my spoiler-free thoughts, starting off with the pros, and I got to start off with Jamie Lee Curtis because she is the saving grace of this film. Her performance as Laurie is the only good performance in this film, in my opinion. I found her story to be interesting. She's trying to turn a new leaf, but she gets thrown back into the madness with the shape, and I really enjoyed her arc. Her screen presence is there. You can tell she's having more fun in this particular iteration of Laurie. Like, again, she's trying to shake off the past and try to open up a new chapter in her life, and I like that version of her, but also like when she's being a badass. So whenever she wasn't on screen, the film suffered from it. Jamie Lee Curtis is great, and she's personally my favorite final girl for a reason, and she has some of the best moments in this film. So kudos to Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie. Let's talk about these kills, y'all. Now, I'm going to be honest. They were pretty solid. They were pretty solid, more so because some of the characters that actually get those final blows deserved it, if you ask me. But in all seriousness, I like the kills. There's two that come to mind. One that takes place in a junkyard, which I really enjoyed that. And speaking of characters that deserved it, you'll know what I'm talking about when you see the film. And then another one takes place at a radio station, which was very cool. And I point those out because they were creative. They were really brutal, and they reminded me a little bit more of that 2018 Halloween vibe, which I'm a fan of that film. So those are some kills, and overall the kills were pretty solid across the board. But those two that I just mentioned really stand out to me. I can't leave out the legend, man. John Carpenter's score. Of course, he's working with his collaborators Cody and Daniel as they add their flavor to it. But I thought the score, as it always is in this franchise, especially when John Carpenter's involved, it's a character within itself, and it evokes certain emotions, and it really kind of gets you in the mood, especially when you get those brutal kills that we get in this film. So, yeah, that's about it. Pardon me while I forgot to take out the trash here. Yeah, we're going to just go ahead and throw that in there. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Now, I actually wrote down an entire outline on the film as far as a scene-for-scene breakdown. I plan on shooting that video pretty soon. I'm going to have a spoiler breakdown for you all, so keep an eye out for that. But we're not talking about the spoilers here. Let's get into my criticisms. This film is absolute trash, and I don't recommend anyone see this in theaters nor at home on Peacock. Oh my goodness. This story is so bad, and it is so poorly written. It is just so much laziness and extremely disappointing. And if I'm being frank with you all, as a fan of this franchise, for you all that do not know, Halloween 1978 is my favorite horror film of all time. And this is one of my favorite horror franchises. Michael Myers is my favorite horror slasher icon. I felt pretty disrespected in this film, y'all. I thought the scenes without Laurie, like I said, were very suffer from it, and every other character outside of Laurie was just straight up in this movie lacked personality and lacked flair, and more importantly, I didn't care for any of the characters minus Laurie. Oh my goodness, these characters, man. There were characters that was wasted. There were characters that were overacting. There were characters that felt like they were in another film, a whole nother decade as far as the characteristics in some of these moments in this film, y'all. The characters are so terrible in this movie. The film doesn't show, looked at my phone, which I don't recommend looking at phones when you're in theaters, but I just had to know. I looked at my phone, and we're about 40 minutes into the film. This is a little bit of a light, I don't know if this is a spoiler, but Michael Myers isn't in this film till about 40 minutes into this movie, y'all. This is the reverse. If you've seen Halloween Kills, this is the reverse of Halloween Kills, where if you've seen that film, you know Laurie, she was sidelined for most of that film. Well, they returned the favor from Michael because he is completely sidelined in this movie. He is completely wasted in this film. He's pretty much a cameo. Michael Myers is a cameo in this movie. And if you've seen, from a Halloween fans, if you've seen Halloween 3, The Season of the Witch, this is kind of like this. This is like David Gordon Green's kind of interpretation of this film. There's a lot of reasons why that. Number one, the title sequence is very much an homage to that. And also, like I said, this film lacks Michael Myers. And when you see it, you know what I mean. And when it comes to how I just feel as far as enjoying the actress as well as the character Allison, I've enjoyed her arc. I've enjoyed her character. And when it comes to this movie, as far as the Allison character goes, oh my, this time around, she is one note. Her motives are absolutely ridiculous. Like, she is just bad throughout the film. Speaking of bad, let's talk about this Corey character without getting too much into the details. He's the star. He is the star in this movie. If you came to see this for Laurie or Michael, you might be a little disappointed because Corey's your man in this film, who I have to say at first I was rooting for him. I cared for the character Corey, but boy, did that wear off within the first 10 to 15 minutes of the film. Corey is insufferable on so many levels in this movie. And speaking of Corey, there's this romantic angle that they take with Allison that I thought was like almost like, if you all have seen the Reese Witherspoon, Mark Wahlberg film that came out in the like mid-90s, late 90s, it was called Fear. It kind of has a little bit of that going on in this film, and I thought that was absolutely the worst part of this movie. Can we talk about Michael? Can we go back and talk about my man, who I'm a fan of, like I mentioned? He's rarely in the movie, but when you see him in the movie, he's weak as shit. Like Michael Myers, I felt so disrespected, man, as a fan of Michael Myers. He gets completely disrespected on so many levels, especially from a particular character that just pissed me off when something happens to Michael in this film. Oh my goodness, he's not the Shape. He's not the boogeyman. He's trash. He is, like this film, he is trash. And it is just embarrassing as a fan to see what they did with Michael Myers in this film. It's kind of like, for my sports fans, it's like watching Michael Jordan in his Washington Wizard days. It's like watching one of your favorite athletes coming to an end to their career, or a film franchise, you know, seeing your favorite characters be disrespected. That's how I felt in this film. This is kind of like Star Wars. This is kind of like how they treated Han and Leia and Luke. It was just completely disrespectful to Michael Myers. The Haddonfield town people, they're trash. They're terrible. They're the worst. The communist film was ridiculous. And lastly, Rob Zombie. I've always said Rob Zombie is on a list of people who I never want to have touched this franchise ever again. Well, Rob Zombie, you got a new roommate, and he goes by the name of David Gordon Green. Listen, I like 2018's Halloween, and I actually enjoyed the first half of Halloween Kills. But this film is a disgrace. I am not sure what David was going for in this movie, but it didn't work for me. Some people, I'm seeing some things that they're saying, bold choices, creative choices. Those adjectives, those words do not come in mind when I think of David and his direction and his story. The four other writers that he had in this film, I don't know what they were thinking. I'm almost thinking about filing a police report because I feel like criminally this story was just written so bad. And it's just like the story, what were you all thinking? I have no idea. Would have been okay with how they used the Corey stuff if they would have really put their foot on the gas and pushed the pedal to the metal and really went batshit crazy, more into supernatural, diving more into those elements, but they don't do that. The execution in this film, it lacks focus, and it was just, again, I can't help but to use the word bad. It's just a bad movie across the board. The whole plot of the evil consumes you, and the evil takes a new shape, angle, and how the director mentioned years ago that this film was shot during the pandemic, and they wanted to kind of incorporate the pandemic in this film, and there's a disease going on in the town. All that stuff was stupid to me. David, you said, you know what, Michael? Go ahead and sit this one out. I'm going to be the boogeyman. I'm going to be the bad guy. He's the villain of this film. He did a terrible job in directing this. He is taking a different approach that I did not enjoy about this, and I really do hope that he never steps his foot into working on another Halloween film, and I can understand why this is going straight to streaming. I know why they made that call now after seeing this film. I truly, truly dislike this movie, and when things finally do pop off, which it takes, oh my goodness, it takes so long for the film to pick up, by the time stuff happens, I was already checked out. So listen, before I give you my score and let you know if it's worth checking out, if you haven't can tell already, I appreciate you all. If you're enjoying this content, give it a thumbs up, share, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Overall, Halloween Ends lifeless. It is soulless. It is a Michael Myers-less film. And I just got to take the moment. I love Laurie. She's the MVP. Thank you for all you have done for this franchise. It's time to say goodbye, Laurie. And don't bring it back. Do not bring this franchise back because it just ended on such a bad note. I'm giving Halloween Ends a 1 out of 5. And as far as my rankings go with this kind of 4 sets of films from 78, 2018, last year's Kills, and now this one, 1978 is a masterpiece. It's my favorite horror film of all time. None of the films will come close to it. 2018 Halloween's a pretty solid film. I'm going to put Halloween Kills above this, and all the way in the bottom of the barrel, like the bottom of the trash, is Halloween Ends. That's my thoughts. Share yours in the comments. Again, pros, cons, favorite moments, least favorite moments. Is this really the end? Share your thoughts on that and share your rankings. Again, y'all, I have an outline of a full breakdown of the entire film that I'm going to be making hopefully later today. A full spoiler review. It's going to probably be like 20, 30 minutes. And I'm going to go in. We're going to talk about that later. We might even do a live stream, so keep an eye out for all that content. If you stuck around to this point in the review, do your boy a favor. Put in the comments right now, hashtag no more Halloween. Hashtag no more Halloween. Put it in the comments. You all have been awesome. Just a friendly reminder to like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You all are incredible. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this film. I can't wait to talk more about this movie a little bit later. As you can see on the screen now, come and join the community. Check out my other movie reviews for this year. Check out my most recent review, and we'll catch you all on the next breakdown.